We are back a day after I, Brian Crawford, was selected as a celebrity judge for Brookline's Got Talent. And if you remember yesterday morning's show, I went on a judging spree, and all we did was judge for an entire hour. So the event was great. It was a lot of fun. Unbelievable talent, which was fantastic, and such a wide variety of talent. It was a lot of fun to be able to judge that event. And we actually have the winners of the Brookline's Got Talent here in studio. We have Mark and Stephanie Byars, who won. You guys were winners. Congratulations. We're going to be talking with you about the Brookline's Got Talent here in a little bit, and you guys are going to perform the song that won you the competition right here. Yeah, right here in studio. So that's exciting. Obviously, that is the big news. More big news. Westmoreland County's Sheriff, John Held, has been charged with a one-count felony. He's been accused of having employees of the sheriff's office go and campaign while they are on the clock. This is something that we've had a lot of trouble with here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and it has reached all the way up, if you remember, just a few years ago to the Supreme Court level with Joan Ori Melvin and the Ori sisters. So this is something that is not new to Pennsylvania. However, I was surprised to find out that it happened in Westmoreland County. So we've got that. We've got the weird news, and I may be making some judgments here on today's show as well with the gavel. So this gavel is probably a dangerous thing for me because I'm already using it all the time. I was at a meeting the other day where there were just three of us at a bar, and I called the meeting to order with the gavel. So you'll probably be seeing a lot more of this. This is like the best $10 thing I've bought in a long, long time. So this is the River's Edge Radio Network. I am Brian Crawford. I am flying solo again. I was supposed to have Ian Insect coming in as a guest co-host, so I'm making a judgment right now. Guilty. He's not here. I'm not sure what exactly happened. So Sheriff John Held, it's a weird situation for me because he's somebody who I supported back in my day, back when I was involved in the political realm. And it was a really interesting situation because he was running for sheriff in the primary. And everybody who was in the party back in Westmoreland County, they wanted the other guy. And they wanted the other guy because they wanted him to become a judge. And the argument that they gave everybody was, well, we need to get this guy in for sheriff. His name is Wayne McGrew. We got to get him in. We got to get him in because we want him to run for judge. And the other guy, John Held, he wanted to run for sheriff. So I had thought at the time, well, that seems stupid. Why would I vote for somebody for sheriff so he can run for judge? I want somebody who wants to actually be sheriff to run for sheriff. So I kind of backed the other guy, and everybody, that was the big thing. They didn't endorse anybody. Oh, we don't endorse anyone. We don't endorse anyone. But they would go around and make these comments, and they would try to bully people into voting for their guy, and, oh, you're stupid if you vote for the other one. And I remember leading into the election, I ended up helping to put together a robocall to try to get John Held in. And the day of the election, everybody thought that the other guy was going to win, Wayne McGrew, because the party was 100% behind him. And we were waiting, and the results came in, and it turned out that John Held won. He pretty much beat all of the odds. He didn't have any of the endorsements of the big backers. They all were backing the other guy, and it was this crazy celebration. So it's really disheartening to see that he may potentially be involved in having employees campaign on the clock. Now, of course, this is alleged that he has been charged by the state, so he hasn't been found guilty yet, so you are innocent until proven guilty, but this is a problem that we have in the Commonwealth, and it is something that you've seen multiple times. And if he did do it, I just gotta wonder, what the hell was he thinking? This seems to be something where, and it's a weird situation. As somebody who worked in the state house, you were basically expected as an employee to work on behalf of the candidate who won, of the sitting representative, because obviously you're going to be out of a job if he gets out of a job. So it is like a weird thing where you are expected to be involved, and basically if you're not going to get involved in the campaigning aspect of things, then as an employee it's kind of frowned upon. But you didn't do that while you were on the clock. And I remember when I worked for the State House, it was very, very, they were very, very specific that no, you do not do any campaign work while you're sitting in that office. Which, my God, what an awful job. I'm so glad I got out of that job. That was a job where I came in there, just to kind of give you an example of how messed up that situation was. I had never worked in an office before, so I get into this place. They have me in some remote office with the state senate. It was like a shared office. But because it was a shared office, the House did not want to bring in any of their equipment for the longest time. So I went to Harrisburg, did all of my training. I learned how to use the computer, the House computer systems, got onto the House email, all of that stuff. And then I get into the office, and it was several months where I didn't even have a computer. I brought in my own netbook, and if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be able to answer even emails. There was no phone. I brought in my own personal phone, tied it into the phone line, and we didn't have any meetings. I was just there by myself, and then I was the one. They would take me out of that office and send me to a library in Jeanette this is all out in Westmoreland County, to help constituents out there. Meanwhile, the other office had double staffing. And the craziest part about it was the one time they brought somebody in from Harrisburg to help teach us how to plan events. And my whole position when I worked for the House was to be an event planner for the representative. So, of course, they sent the event planner from Harrisburg to the other office to train the other people that weren't planning any of the events. So it was a really bizarre situation. But yeah, there is this expectation that you help your person get reelected so that way you can secure your job. And it's just a culture that needs to change. And I think I'm glad to see if he did do it. I hope he does. I hope he's held accountable. And it's just weird when you put so much effort into someone's campaign and then it turns out that they may potentially be an idiot. So, but you never know. That's the way the world works. You just try to do the best that you can, and sometimes you're right, and sometimes you are wrong. So, has anyone here ever been involved in the political world?
Absolutely not.
Not at all. Okay, Stephanie?
No, me neither.
No, Zach? You don't have a mic. That's right. He's been de-mic'd here for today's show.
Excuse me.
But yeah, well, it is weird because when you get involved in a campaign, especially if you're really involved, and I wouldn't be able to now. I just don't have the time to be involved in a campaign like I used to be. But you spend every day working on some of these campaigns, and it can be really, really crazy. And when I was involved, especially with the state house rep race, when I got that guy in, you would just spend hours and hours and hours going door to door, knocking on people's house, doors, trying to tell them about their vote. And that can be tricky too. One time I had a person who was running for magistrate who came to my door. And this guy, it's funny because I always, I look young for my age, and it was worse when I was younger. And he comes and knocks on the door, and I answer the door, and he's talking to me. And then my mom comes to the door as well, and his eyes just shift straight to her. And it's like I wasn't even there. I don't think he thought I was old enough to vote. Here, I was the only one in the house that was politically active. If anyone was going out to vote, it was going to be me. And anyone else in the family, if they were going to vote, most likely I would be the one influencing them to vote one way or the other. So then I was pissed that this guy just completely blew me off. And at that point, I worked against him, and I worked for the other guy to get the other guy in office. And it was just like a really, really stupid, dumb way to go. So
I've never been the type of person to be comfortable with going up to somebody's house and try to basically sell them something. Hold on.
It's not working. Yeah, go ahead.
You're a solicitor, basically, and I just I don't like to, because I don't like to be bothered in my house when I'm at home, so that just wouldn't be something that I
But believe it or not, though, it's the only way to get elected on a local level. The studies prove, in fact, it's so important that the state caucus or the state parties, they will actually not give you money for your race if you do not knock on doors. They want you to turn in the number of doors you've knocked on. And if based on that, if it seems like you're not going door to door, they just will not give you the money because they don't think that you're going to win. Because
that's why those clipboards are so important when there are people out there.
Yeah, exactly. And it's true though. There is no way to win a local election without knocking on doors. That's the number one way because people think that you, and in some ways it does show that you care more because, it's easy to sit at home and click a few buttons on Facebook to get your message out there, but it's another thing to spend your entire day going door to door and meeting people. And there's this one video. It was a music video. It was actually pretty awesome. I played it on this show before, but there was a guy who was running for lieutenant governor, and he made his own music video, which was crazy. And it showed him knocking on doors. That's how it started off. Well, he ended up going into someone's house to sit down and have a conversation with them. And anybody knows that is the worst way to go door-to-door knocking because you're, especially for a race like a governor's race, you're never going to go to enough doors that way. Now, when I ran for council, that was a different story. I knocked on doors, and I knocked on every door in town, but my borough, you see how big Millville is, right? Now, what borough are you guys from, or what part of town? You're from Crafton, okay.
I live in Brentwood.
Brentwood, okay. So each of those are, probably bigger than Millville. But the town I was in was maybe a fourth of the size of Millville. It was so small. We didn't have a single gas station. We did not have a single church. There wasn't a single convenience store. Nothing. There was one bar, and it was a membership only bar for the fire department. That was all that they had. So it was a small town. So you could go into people's houses and have those conversations, and it was great because I would go around and everyone would offer me free beer.
Yeah.
So I went and I just drank the entire day from house to house for free, and I got elected by going out and having some beer.
Hey, you got to know your audience, man. If you can't get a beer anywhere else, go to people's houses.
Exactly.
I'm not saying I don't recognize the importance of knocking on doors.
Sure.
That just isn't something that Mark Byars will be doing in the near future.
It's horrible. I hated doing it.
Yeah.
It's and that's probably why I'll never get involved in a race again because it is so obnoxious to go door to door. Because like you said, you don't want to talk to people. A lot of people don't want to talk to you, especially in today's hyper political climate where heaven forbid you even are decent to somebody who may disagree with you.
Right.
I have had people knock on my door for people who I don't support or people who have different views, and I'm just cordial and nice and just listen to them and then let them be on their way. But some people are just mean and nasty.
Yeah.
Right.
It's crazy.
I try not to be. I feel like I have cable companies coming to my door more than anything. No political candidates or anything. I had one guy who was running for sheriff, and I heard him out and everything.
Sure.
But I'll turn the cable guys away in a second.
Oh yeah.
I'm good. Hulu.
I don't blame you.
It's 2018. No cable.
No, yeah. What do you use? Do you have a Roku or do you have an Amazon stick?
We have a Vizio Smart TV. So it has Hulu and Netflix. Yeah, it's all there on the apps, and it's cool. It's not like a touchscreen or anything like that, but I mean,
I don't even know
are there touchscreen televisions?
I don't think there are. There are?
There are, but I one of my students was telling me about their uncles, but they weren't allowed to touch it because he didn't want fingerprints on it. So
Yeah, that's what I was
defeated
thinking.
the purpose of
What is
having
the
it
point?
touched.
What's the point of having a touchscreen TV? Because that feels like that's so bizarre. I understand this tablet's touchscreen, but it's in front of you.
Or
But
even
TV,
a desktop computer. Yeah,
It seems like it would be. Yeah, I could see a desktop computer even.
Especially if it's 50 inches, you're you can't even see the whole screen if you're close enough to touch it.
And it just seems so weird. You want to change the channel, so you have to walk to the TV and touch it. That just seems bizarre. I'm going in the complete opposite direction, where we have so I got the Amazon Fire Stick, and I was a pioneer of the whole cutting the cable thing. I was really, really big into trying to get off a cable, so I had everything. I had an Apple TV, I had a Roku, and I had what was called a Boxy. It doesn't exist anymore. And the Boxy was cool because the Boxy was this weird pyramid thing that would sit next to your TV. It looked like a piece of art, and that was kind of the whole point of it.
Yeah.
And it was the remote was a little bit, it was thinner than this, but it was the size of a cell phone, and you could flip it over, and there was a keyboard, a full keyboard, so you could type for Netflix instead of going through and clicking each letter, which is super annoying.
That.
Yeah.
Especially when it's in alphabetical order and not even standard keyboard format.
It's obnoxious. So with this, you could just type it like it was a keyboard, and it would come right through, and it was exactly what you wanted. It was great. So I went with that. Now I have the Roku, the Chromecast, but I have the Fire Stick. And with the Fire Stick, it's great because we have a little Alexa Mini in the living room, and I can talk to it, and I could say, Alexa, play me, I don't know, Alexa, play Grand Tour, and she'll be like, Grand Tour on their Fire Stick TV or something in her Alexa-y voice, and then she'll shoot Grand Tour to the TV, and I don't even have to touch the remote. It's completely voice command. So instead of going up and touching the TV,
right?
Which I don't know why you would do that.
That's something Steph would be into. Steph has okay, so her thermostat is connected to an app on her phone. Like, she can change her.
That's just because I don't like to be cold when I get home, though. That was the main reason for buying it.
I don't blame you.
She could be in
fantastic.
Florida down visiting our other sister and turn the heat down if she wanted to for whatever reason. It's just the coolest thing. I remember when you first got that, and it like lights up when you walk past it. It's
That's awesome.
So fancy.
I was researching the HomePod yesterday, 2 days ago, because I was considering getting one. Decided to wait until the second generation comes out because there's still a lot of things that it doesn't do, and it's a really cool speaker. Like, it has great sound quality, and I'm all about great sound quality, but it doesn't connect to the Nest yet. And so if I can't tell Siri to raise or lower the temperature,
no, do you think it will ever connect to the Nest? Because
isn't ridiculous.
No, I understand that, because that's the whole point of the home.
Well, so when I researched that specifically, and it did say that Nest is considering installing like the HomeKit stuff.
So I know they had some sort of deal with Google, don't they? Are they the ones that's more Google? There's one of them that's very like close tied with Google. Because I know one of them doesn't work with the Amazon Alexa, and that was one of the reasons.
Yeah, I'm not sure, and you know that's the big issue with I'm all about Apple, which I also prefer my Apple TV to any of my other devices right now, because it's connected to my phone or my iPad or whatever I happen to be by, and Siri works through the remote for that. But since I can't use my already existing stuff, like, I'm not going to replace my thermostat with an Apple thermostat whenever they decide to release that. And I also don't have any of the light bulbs or anything that would tie to the HomeKit. Yeah. So I'll wait until I can afford to redo my whole home and have a smart home.
Yeah, and I'm hoping to do some of that now with Alexa. Like, I want to get the plug so I could just so I don't even have to click the remote button on the TV. I just want to say, Alexa, turn on the TV.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I know exactly where you're going. Like, we're so lazy as people. Like, it's
it all started with the clapper.
Yeah, I deal with the thermostat, though, from my phone when I'm on the couch, like about 4 feet from it, instead of walking to the thermostat.
That's horrible. So. Well, it's like I have this app on the phone. It's called... what's it called? It's called Mighty Text. Have you ever heard of Mighty Text?
No.
So with the Mighty Text, it's great. I could leave this phone on a charger in Pennsylvania and fly to Florida, like you're talking about, and access my messages on a computer. And then I can actually text message people. As long as the phone is on, I can go anywhere in the world.
Can't you text from like iPads and stuff just through iMessage?
Well, if they're all, if you have that system, but I don't.
Oh, okay.
But like, here's the thing, though. What if you go to a computer? What if you leave your phone in Pennsylvania and you go on vacation and for somehow you forget your phone? And you
that
don't.
Was going to be my question. Why don't you have your phone with you?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, for some reason you forget your phone, but you're there and you don't have an Apple computer. You go to this library; it's all Windows.
Oh, so you can access it from anywhere.
Anything.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an app where you can go to anything and do it. It's just crazy. We live in this world where we're all
don't even have to have our phones on us to be on our phone.
I know, it's crazy. So. I love it, though. I really, and I do want to, I'd love to get the smart heater at some point, but I don't know. How much does that cost to, like, connect it? Is it difficult to connect to your
I actually installed my own.
Okay.
Because I didn't want to pay for somebody else to install it. I was a little bit terrified. That's probably the biggest home improvement project I've done. So I paid for the Nest. I think it was like $350, but there was honestly, I think it was just that my thermostat previously's battery died, and I decided instead of replacing the battery, I was going to buy a smart thermostat. Because
out of gas, buy a new car.
Exactly.
Would you be able to take that with you if you left?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because it connects to the wires that are in where the thermostat goes, that goes down to the furnace, and so the installation is connecting those wires. And it has like a pretty good diagram that goes with it. It was just a little bit difficult to get some of the wires into the right place, but I figure, if I could do it, almost anyone could do it.
Yeah, that's exciting, because I would love to do that in like the apartment where I'm living, but it's an apartment, so I don't want to invest into this place and then.
No, you'd be able to take it with you, and that's the reason why I decided to get it is because it also ideally helps improve your heating and cooling bills because since it's a learning thermostat, and so it recognizes that. Or I can either schedule it or it learns my schedule because it knows that I turn the heat up when I come in the house and it's connected to Wi-Fi, so it knows when I'm in the house versus when I'm gone. And it'll turn itself down to an eco temperature when I'm not there.
That's amazing.
In order to save energy.
That's insane. I didn't even know that. Wow.
Yeah, I didn't know that was possible. That's awesome. It's great that I could take it with me. So this is like not one of the show topics. We're completely rolling off into like home animation,
let's just spend 45 minutes on it. Whatever.
Honestly, it's just like fascinating. So Mark and Stephanie here with great home remodeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is fantastic. I need to get something that's smart. Like we have a sink that's overflowing here in the studio. I want to get a
smart plumber.
Yeah, some sort of smart.
Oh my God, Shark Tank. I'm going. We gotta get,
there we go. We could go.
Get a snake that connects to your phone, and yeah, we've got some bugs to work out. It's in the prototype phase.
How is it going to snake itself?
That's a secret.
Okay. Got it.
So I'm gonna judge the nest because so that was one of the things. I had a guest co-host who was going to be coming in, and actually maybe you guys can fill in this role if you have some interesting topics that you would like me to judge. If anybody who's listening to the show. If you have an interesting topic that you want me to judge, Brian Crawford, the judge, I will make quick judgments right now before we roll into the weird news. I think I really want to judge the nest. Mm-hmm. I'm giving them. They're not guilty, and I'm going to give them a golden stars. I think that'll be the positive. I'll give them golden stars. That sounds fantastic though. Like I want something like that. I'm thinking about doing that in this studio because there is somebody, and I'm determined to capture them, who has been eating they haven't been here for a while, so I think I knew who it is, but they've been eating in this studio, and that's I have like very few specific rules for the space. One is put everything back where it goes. The other is don't eat in here.
Right.
And I kept finding little food things. So I was going to put cameras in here, other cameras besides these cameras that I could hook up to the Alexa. And then at home, I could spy on people like Big Brother while they're here utilizing the studio space.
Nest actually has they work into security too, and everything kind of connects together.
Really?
Which is pretty fancy. I don't have any of that, but I did also just find out that my Apple Watch, if I want to record something or if I'm using the camera on my phone, I can view what's happening on my Apple Watch.
Oh wow!
So now I'm a little bit tempted to go into like Spy Kids mode and just start spying on people for no good reason at all, just because I could.
Because you can, yeah. That's amazing.
No, this happened on an episode of Black Mirror. We do not want to get into monitoring people. That's you saw what that. Did you watch the newest season of Black Mirror?
But I want to monitor people here.
Well,
when they're in this space.
That's fair, I guess.
Does that mean that you have to sit and do nothing but watch to see who's eating, or are you just gonna like fast forward through the video later?
Oh no, what I'm gonna do is
watch live.
Yeah, watch it live. Actually, that's exactly what I would do actually, because what they have is you can get the Amazon show, and basically, are you guys fans of Star Trek at all?
No.
Okay. Well, in Star Trek, Captain Picard of the Enterprise in the Next Generation, he has this little like square where he could do video conferencing. Basically, it was an Alexa show that they came up with the idea back in the 80s. He's got an Alexa show on his desk, and he can talk to other people. And basically, you could do that with show. If you had a show here and a show at my house, I would be able to video communicate with the people who are here in studio, just kind of like FaceTime, except for it's in a box that's standing there. But you can connect that to the video as well. So I could just say, Alexa, show me the studio, and there would be a camera in here, and then Alexa would show me right on the show exactly what people were doing.
That's cool.
Yeah. Because I pretty much know when people are coming in to record, so then I could just look at those times and see what's going on.
So if you have studio time coming up, watch yourselves. Don't be eating here.
So I'm a big fan of it. I think, especially because I don't have time to be here at all times, so I can make sure that people are following the rules and
right.
Yeah, it's an expensive room, man.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, exactly. It's an expensive room, and you don't want it to get all trashed up. So, do you have any topics? Any quick rapid fire topics I can judge?
I was gonna say, how into the movie scene are you? The Oscars are what, tonight? Mm-hmm. Okay.
I have not, but I can make quick judgments.
Okay, let's see. what we've seen, because I was just looking at this list and I haven't seen many of these.
I think I've only seen Get Out.
Yeah, these are the Best Picture nominees.
I don't even know what that is.
Call Me By Your Name.
I don't watch anything.
Yeah, I've been like really disconnected from movies because Netflix is taking over. Let's judge Netflix.
Let's judge Netflix. I think that's a good point.
Netflix, Hulu, any type of streaming service, thank you for saving me from spending, like $12 for a ticket to go to the movies now when I have an infinite library of movies and TV shows in my house.
It's amazing because you can sit there and you can have a beer, you can sit in your recliner, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, and that's just how I like to live my life.
So I do like Netflix, especially Netflix. Netflix and Amazon. Hulu, Hulu has some good stuff as well, and they've gotten better. They used to really be bad when they first launched Hulu. I remember it was just all these YouTube clips.
Yeah.
And they wanted you to pay money to watch YouTube clips, and I'm like, why would I do that? That doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah, it's come a long way. Now Hulu's the best place for like. I've never really like fiddled around with like Amazon or like Apple TV or whatever, but Hulu has a lot of like shows that are currently happening.
That's because they're owned by the cable companies.
Right, they're owned by
not the cable companies,
NBC
but the networks.
Or Comcast. And,
it's a combination of different networks apparently.
Yeah.
So I think
Fox, NBC, ABC.
But I think CBS declined to go with Hulu.
I guess I've never. I think that's right because Mom watches some show on God, I can't keep track of
the
her
CBS
shows,
app. Yeah.
Yeah, so she has to use the CBS app in order to access it because it's not on Hulu.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, Hulu they're getting better. Amazon, they don't have a lot of shows, but their shows are really good when they do. Like Grand Tour is amazing. Netflix, I feel like, is the best with the original content.
Oh yeah,
like the Netflix stuff, everything they put out, it'll be a TV series and it's movie quality.
Yeah,
their stuff can be so hit or miss though. Like I've started some things I can't even remember the ones that I've started. Or even like when Bright came out. And it was just like, I'm not sure. I watched the whole thing. I love Will Smith. I was all about watching a new Will Smith movie, but it was bizarre. Like, it was really strange.
Oh, really?
I know a lot of people that weren't fans. I think it made some statements, but maybe didn't make them loudly enough. So a lot of people watched it without getting the point of the statements in terms of, like, race relations. But I don't know. I feel like their stuff has been a little bit hit or miss recently. I've kind of moved away from Netflix and I'm using Hulu more often now.
Oh, are you?
Yeah. Well, that's also because all my shows are back off hiatus, but I'm usually not home when they're on.
Hulu original stuff just sucks.
Not that one. That one is good with the video game. That one was funny.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean,
I can't remember what it's called, but it's this one where this guy, he plays a video game and it turns out that this this future like group of people are using the video game because they think that they use it as a simulation, video games. So they think that if he can beat the video game, that he's super athletic in real life and this real badass because he's beating the video game. And he doesn't realize, they don't realize from the future that we play video games like some of the people who are the most unathletic or video game players. So and it's really it's kind of a fun thing, but that's the only one I've seen of their originals.
Yeah, but I've tried to watch some of their original like sitcom-ish stuff, and it's just
not good.
It's not Netflix at all.
I'm gonna make a quick judgment. I think we're in favor of the online streaming.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. Look where we are right now.
We're online streaming right now, exactly. So streaming is the future. We're living in the future right now. It is crazy though, like thinking about Captain Picard with this Amazon show, and now that exists, and
even stuff like this, like the watch that I won at Brookline's Got Talent last night. It's like you can just talk into it. Like,
is that what you guys won? I wasn't even sure.
It was this watch and $200 cash prize.
Now, do they have two of them for you guys?
No, she already has an Apple Watch though, so it worked out.
It worked out. Okay, very cool.
It worked out for you.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't have anything to gain. Yeah, it was fun.
Very cool. Well, let's roll into the weird news. We've got some weird news segments, and we're gonna come up with some more rapid fire judgments for next week, and that's gonna be we'll have Michael back. He'll come back with some interesting topics for me to judge, and I know he's gonna come up with some really weird shit, so that should be interesting. So we're gonna talk with Stephanie and Mark a little bit later about, you guys can join in with the weird news if you'd prefer, but we're gonna talk specifically about what you guys are doing with music, about Brookline's Got Talent, and you guys are gonna do your song for us, so you all have to keep waiting for that. So that is on the way. Let's play the weird news music right now. It is 3 weird stories, not 1, not 2, but 3 weird stories to keep the Mon Monster at bay, where I, Brian Crawford, will single-handedly save the city from destruction from the Mon Monster with 3 weird news stories. The first one has to do with a woman who was a news anchor, and she had a really weird day. This comes from the Huffington Post. It says that TV news is really for the birds sometimes. Just ask Nicole Medina, who co-hosts the morning news on San Diego station KFMB. On Friday, Medina was doing a tease for an upcoming segment with the San Diego Zoo Safari Park when one of the guests literally flew in for a cameo right on cue. It was a flamingo that landed right on this woman's head, and she had to do the newscast with a bird on her head.
She held it together.
She held it together, yeah.
I would have lost my shit. I don't even.
You're not a fan of birds?
It's a freaking flamingo. They're like 4 feet tall, right? Like, or 3 feet, or I don't know.
It's a couple feet tall, yeah.
But like, and their feet look like they would hurt. And I mean, more power to her for being professional.
She's smiling, yeah. She was great. It reminds me of this time I was in the Norwin marching band, and we were about to go on, so we were picked for the Music Man at the Benedum Center to be able to play. So we were the actual band in the Music Man with Jeff Goldblum. This was like back when I was in high school, so this is early 2000s. And we're there, and we're going on the KDK morning show. You know, they do that TV morning show, and we were just playing in between the credits. That's all we were, in between like commercial breaks. That's all we were doing for the morning show. And literally, just as we were about to go on, a bird flies overhead and poops on someone's uniform. So they're scattering and rushing to try to rub the poop off of the uniform so that way we can go on air. And it was great. But yeah, there was that. And then I had this art teacher who I had like a thing against flamingos. And we were making sculptures out of soap, which was kind of a weird thing to do anyways. But
on a budget, you know?
Yeah.
Sculpting on a budget.
Sculpting on a budget. Well, you know, we didn't have any money for any art supplies since it all went to the football stadium. Right. So, but we're making art sculptures, and my grandmother was really, really into flamingos, and I wanted to make her a flamingo. And he was like, no, you can't do that. The neck's going to fall off. And he's like, what about making her a pelican? I'm like, she doesn't like pelicans. She likes flamingos. So I ended up making the flamingo.
Did it work out?
She loved it. It worked out.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened to it because she's passed since, and I don't know who took it. But yeah, the entire time that she was alive, that flamingo stood with its head on proudly. So
that's impressive.
What grade did you get on the assignment?
I don't know. He probably not a good one because he was probably mad at me for not doing what he wanted.
Right.
So it was stupid. Weird story 2. This one also comes from the Huffington Post. It is a couple who adopts a pig from a shelter. They adopted the pig for bacon. So it says staff at an animal shelter in Canada are stunned after a local family adopted a pot-bellied pig as a pet and then slaughtered it and ate the pig weeks later.
Wow. I mean, I feel like they should have had some sort of screening process. Like, what's your intention for adopting this pig? You can keep it as a pet? Like, because I've seen that. Like, that's something that I see on Facebook, because my Facebook timeline is just weird animal videos at this point, because that's all I watch. And people are like, oh, look at this pig. It's so cute. So, yeah, like, people are adopting pigs now, but I don't think I've heard it.
I wonder how it tasted.
It was probably really good. Yeah. It was probably really fresh.
It's really economical to do it that way, I guess.
I suppose. Yeah. I
wonder how much they got out of it. Like, how many pounds of bacon did they get out of it?
That's a good question. An employee said, first reaction I'd say was shock and heartbreak. You know, all of the animals that come through our care or branches, we get very attached to. So
that sucks.
Yeah, that does suck if you liked that pig.
Right.
I remember when we adopted our dog. The first dog I don't remember adopting because I was only 2 years old. But when we got the second dog, I was in high school. And that dog, I remember they were really attached to this dog. Now, I don't really know how well they were taking care of it because it was super, super thin. But they really cared about this dog. I remember they were really sad when we adopted the dog. I mean, they were happy that the dog had a home, but they were sad because they were used to that dog and they liked it.
Yeah, so. You get attached to animals. It's hard. It's hard losing animals.
Pigs.
Even pigs. Especially pigs.
I heard, aren't pigs supposed to be really nice? Like, not nice, but like really smart?
Yeah, I think they act like, don't they act like dogs if you domesticate them?
I can't say I've ever been around a domesticated pig.
Oh, come on.
I don't know.
Domesticated snakes. She has a snake in her bedroom.
Not anymore.
Well, there's a new challenge that's going on.
I didn't know that. Sorry. R.I.P.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He didn't die. I gave him to, I donated him to the Citizen Science Lab.
Okay.
So they now have 2 snakes.
Nice.
Cool.
Very cool.
Cool.
Well, there is a new game that's going around, or an internet challenge. Unlike the Ice Bucket Challenge, I don't think this one goes for charity, and it's a game of people being really, really stupid. So you've got the Tide Pods, which I don't know why anyone would ever think to eat a Tide Pod.
Yeah.
But that was a thing.
Yeah.
Let's eat laundry detergent.
Yeah, well, now the same people, I'm assuming it's the same people because this is equally stupid, they've come to a new idea, and basically it is called the Hot Coil Challenge.
That doesn't sound good.
No, and what people are doing is you've got different types of ranges or ovens, right? You've got gas-powered, and then you have electric. So basically someone is taking an electric range, turning on the heat so the coils are red hot, and they are putting their arm on the coil as a challenge and burning themselves.
Wow.
Go to school. Go to the library. Like
something.
I don't get why all of these like things that are like self-mutilating and like wasting money, like just totally pointless for likes and shares and like.
Who in the hell would like that? That's what I don't understand. Like, you've got to be messed up as a person if you think this is entertaining or interesting in any way.
Yeah, I don't really understand, because even like when they had the pass out challenge was viral, and you had to hold your breath a certain way while somebody pushed on your chest.
What?
And the goal was to pass out, and like kids were dying. And,
yeah, I'm sure.
And they just, I don't understand what it is about viral things and who the first person was that decided to put out the hot coil challenge, and then their friends were like, oh, I can put my arm on that hot coil longer than you can.
It couldn't have just stayed good, clean, innocent fun with the cinnamon challenge. The cinnamon challenge sucked.
What's the cinnamon
Also
challenge?
What? You never? Yes, it
I don't
was.
do any of. See, I don't do any of the trending
Nobody ever
things.
died from the cinnamon challenge.
Pretty sure somebody did, actually.
Really?
I'll Google it later.
Yeah.
So what was the cinnamon challenge?
The cinnamon challenge is you just so apparently, well, I've done it. I did it once, but when you eat like a spoonful of cinnamon, it like coats your throat, and you like can't breathe for a certain amount of time, depending on how much.
I did not know cinnamon was that dangerous.
I didn't know either, and so I did it when my sister first moved down to Florida. We were all we were imbibing, and I decided to do the cinnamon challenge, and I did think I was going to die, and it ended up that the video never even got recorded, so I did it for nothing. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know anybody died from it. I feel bad now.
See, well, here we go. You're saying it's good, innocent fun. You couldn't breathe, and then you said it wasn't even worth it because the video didn't get recorded. So
Sorry,
are you better than the hot coil challenge takers?
I'm not supporting
Can I make a
that.
judgment?
I'm just saying.
Yes, please.
Guilty.
I'm just saying that, I mean, it wasn't mutilating your body and like
Other than your
ingesting.
sinuses. Okay.
Well, ingesting chemicals and Tide Pods and stuff. That's just.
Well, I mean, at least like with cinnamon, you wouldn't think it's bad because it's a spice that you eat on food.
You
like
just
I
don't
can
eat
get
it by the spoonful.
I can get a Panera bread and get a cinnamon bagel, so you don't think that it's bad. But Tide.
Right.
It says right on there,
You
don't
can't
eat
get a Tide
this.
bagel.
I think the beginning of that was because Tide had released commercials making sure that people were putting their Tide Pods up because they're brightly colored. And so babies might look at them and say, oh, like candy.
Yeah.
And so from those commercials, teenagers or whomever decided to start eating Tide Pods.
I'm going to judge Tide here. Not guilty.
No, it's not their fault.
It's not their fault. And I think it's horrible that they had to get rid of their product because, I mean, honestly, if you're that dumb to eat Tide, like, like it says right on there, do not eat.
They did everything that they had the power to do to discourage.
Yeah, and if you're saying they were making commercials and everything saying don't eat it, I mean, I don't know what else they were supposed to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because it could just as easily have been somebody decided that they were going to drink liquid detergent and then all of the companies would have had trouble.
Right, like drinking bleach is like one of the most cliche ways to like poison yourself. So let's do it in solid form. That sounds like a really great idea.
Yeah.
We're pretty unanimous on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's put away the gavel, and let's talk about the Brookline's Got Talent. We have Mark to my right, Stephanie to my left, and you guys just won the competition. You were number one, and it was stiff competition. I don't know if you got to hear everybody, or see everybody perform, but there was some fantastic, talented people there. And the top three that you guys had won, Sadie Friend was number 2, and then Jay Cooper, who actually co-hosts the show with me on Saturdays, was number 3.
Yeah.
So
I was so funny.
Yeah, he was great. So I thought you guys were all fantastic. Everybody who performed was great. So were you nervous after seeing some of the performers about performing yourself?
Yeah. The girl who went after us, Christina
Harmony, I want to say her name.
I feel bad now. Sorry. She was really good, and like we, as soon as she went on, like right after us, I was just coming up the stairs from downstairs, like, oh shit, here we go. Like I was shaking.
She wasn't even in the top 3, and she could have been.
I know.
That's the thing.
She, in my opinion, if I was on the panel, she would have placed. But I don't know how I would have changed the like actual top 3. Like I think everybody deserved it, but that's just solidifying the point that there was stiff competition. Like not everybody can win.
Well, it was tough. So yeah, I didn't know originally that Jay was going to be one of the contendants.
Yeah,
but
we didn't. He wasn't at the dress rehearsal, and so.
Well, he was picked last minute.
Okay.
I know, but somebody had canceled. Somebody had backed out, so they put him in. And that was one of the reasons why. But he. He's a veteran, so I knew him from, I've been working with Jay for years, so I knew he was there. But I had known previous to that Sadie Friend was going to be performing, because she had mentioned it during the Sunday before. We actually had Todd DeFazio, who was the host last night. He came on this program to talk about Brookline's Got Talent last Sunday.
I love Todd. Todd's great.
Todd's great. And when we were talking, Sadie Friend had chimed in and said she was performing. And as soon as I saw that, I knew that the stakes were up, because she's really
incredible.
fantastic. Yeah, so I was not surprised that, at the level of talent. So it was crazy. It's great on my end to be able to see all of that. So
us too. Like honestly, any opportunity that there is to support someone doing like what they want to do, like the young lady that opened the show with the baton, she had to be like 12, 13 years old. That takes a lot. That room was packed.
Oh yeah, and it was a sold out event.
Yeah. So even though she didn't place, she proved something to herself, and she proved something to all of us too. Because like at that age, I probably wouldn't be up there doing that, and she killed it. She never dropped the baton.
And she was really nervous beforehand too. Yeah. And so it was cool to see her get up and do it, and even the growth from the dress rehearsal to the performance, I felt like she did a lot more and took a couple more risks in terms of throwing the baton, and she was smiling more. Her stage presence was a little bit stronger, so it was pretty cool to see, even just over 5 days, how she grew as a performer.
And that's awesome for her.
That is great. That's one thing that I wish that we would have been able to do more, and if I had one suggestion for next year, I would like to see a little bit more flexibility for the judges to be able to comment, because they picked one judge and that was it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't picked for the girl with the baton, but I actually was in marching band for 4, 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah.
So I mean, I wasn't in the color guard, but you worked hand in hand with them, so I know the type of hours that they put in and the amount of time that it takes to learn that.
There were plenty of times that I tried to twirl a flag and hit myself in the head. So
yeah,
I definitely respect anybody who can
sure.
Do a whole song without dropping anything, without hurting themselves, without hurting anybody around them.
Yeah.
And even if she missteps, making sure to get back on too. So
yeah, and I would have loved to have been able to chime in on that performance and kind of mention that the amount of work that it goes into that. So that's one thing I would like to do more of. But yeah, it was cool. So does this help you guys? So you guys How long have you been performing together?
Well, so Mark, you started talking when you were what, like 3?
Yeah, something
right?
like that.
So probably at least 6 months before that.
Not necessarily all voluntary. I won't compare our situation to Joe Jackson and the Jackson 5, but our dad was a little bit of when we used to sing at church. Like, he used to be the music minister at the church that we went to, and so we would never practice until the night before, and we couldn't go to bed until everything was perfect.
Oh, wow.
I would be sitting there miserable, like falling asleep, just like to the brink of tears because I was so tired. But I mean, we got to church the next day, not very well rested, but well rehearsed, that's for sure.
Right.
But yeah, it all really stemmed from there in the churches that we went to when we were younger. And then...
It did become voluntary from there, but I feel like for a really long time, it was mostly in church that we would sing together. And there are 4 of us. And so older brother, older sister, who would sing with us as well. And yeah, kind of rotated who had the lead on the song. And
rotate nothing. I was always the soprano. There was no rotation.
True. Mark is actually still a fantastic soprano, probably a stronger soprano than I am.
Well,
it's okay though, Mark. I'm a stronger tenor than you are.
That's true. That's true. You can hit notes that I can't.
But then Mark took off a little bit more on his own when he got to well, it was still in high school that you started writing, right?
High school.
And recording some of his own stuff, and he started performing in talent shows in college and stuff like that. So while I don't think in terms of me performing to anybody or for him, like, we've been singing together for at least like 22 years.
Yeah.
And so there's nobody that knows our voices better than each other. So it's pretty easy even for us to put together something quickly. But we
especially on songs
often together.
Yeah, no. Especially on songs that I wrote, like Ribbon. She knows my writing style now. So she was able to like figure out all those harmonies herself, and just like we got together one day and put it together and worked on it, polished it up, and it got us the win. I just wish I would have gotten the chance to spend more time paying attention to music up until, like, not until recently have I gotten to actually focus on music as much as I would have liked.
In what ways?
So I, like I said, started like writing and really taking off in high school, but I always had school to worry about, and I always had like my extracurriculars, like student, National Honor Society, musical, marching band, and then college was happening at the same time too. So I just like never had the energy to really focus on much of anything else except for school. But then recently I got with our oldest sister's best friend from middle school's stepfather. He and this group of guys have been playing for like probably over 25 years, and they lost their vocalist, so they asked me to join them, and that's what I've been doing since the middle of December. We're called the XY Evolution. You can find us on Facebook and hear a little bit of a sample of like what we're going to be doing. We're starting to gig here pretty soon. Our first show is on March 16th at Sunny Jim's Tavern out on Camp Horn Road from 8 to 12, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah, 8 to 12. So if you're free the night before St. Patty's Day and want to come out, 250 Bud Light bottles.
There we go.
Yeah. That's going to be really fun. I'm really excited. I haven't done anything. We're so good. Like, we're so, and I don't like to be like that, but I recognize that we really have something special. So I'm just so excited that this is my life now.
We recognize, so I was actually just talking to my mom about this today, Mark's mood overall, he's just so much happier now that he's doing the music consistently. So it really shows through that you're working with something that you love.
Well, it does make a huge difference. I know since that I started this network, I've been in a much better mood. Because when you don't know what you want to do, or if you're not doing the thing that you should be doing, it definitely can be a huge downer as well. Like,
I work in food service for universities full-time. Well, not full-time anymore. I do that and drive for Uber Eats. And that gives me like the flexibility to actually be able to have the time to put work into what I'm doing and still be able to like make money too, because starting out gigging isn't going to pay the bills, unfortunately.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I work overnights, and it's a similar situation. So I end up working over 40 hours a week.
Yeah,
but
gotta support the dream.
But it's all overnight, so it frees me up during the day and evenings, so I can kind of make things work the way I need to make them work. So which is a big deal. So whenever after the event, I had added you guys on Facebook because I wanted to send you that the studio directions. I wanted to make sure I got it to you right away because
and we still both passed it.
Yeah, as you've seen, it can be confusing. So, but when I did it, I noticed that like we don't have any of the same friends in common, like very few. So I was kind of surprised by that because usually like once, so I think that'll probably change as you're coming out and gigging more because this scene is like really crazy where everybody as soon as you meet some people.
I want to get that way, and like I said, I haven't been able to do anything like this, so that's why I'm not connected. I don't really have anything.
Yeah, that's why I was shocked when I saw you guys perform and you were so great, and I hadn't heard of you before, and I was surprised myself as I tend to know most of the people in the music scene just in my position here at the station. So.
Yeah. Well, now we know each other.
Yeah, we do. So very cool.
Cheers
so
to a bright future.
What gigs do you have coming up, and are you going to be performing at those gigs as well?
No.
Well, actually, I can spring this on you live. The band leader of XY Evolution actually asked me today if you would like to join us on stage to do Ribbon. And possibly If I Ain't Got You by Alicia Keys, too, because Kevin loves your voice and he wants you to join us and be a part of our first thing. So mull it over. You don't have to answer now.
I'll be there anyway, as long as I finally get over the upper respiratory infection and can sing.
You have the immune system of...
But yeah, well, I'm around children and they don't wash their hands, so...
No, I know how that is. Where I work, and I don't want to say where I work, but I get things that are coming in from all over the country. So I've got germs from all over the United States, actually all over the world, that are coming into my building. So
that's a little terrifying.
Yeah, it is. And I refuse to wear gloves too. They have gloves there, but when I wear the gloves, my hands, it's like your hands become feet and they sweat and they're nasty and they smell like just pure sweat, and I just can't do it.
That's another reason not to eat in here, guys. He has international germs in here.
I do,
so don't eat.
So don't eat, exactly.
I'm trying to... I should have had this pulled up before. I have a list of our confirmed gigs right now. And we actually spoke to Caitlin. Shout out to Caitlin, for throwing that together and, for how organized it was. It was obviously, a little bit chaotic, but, anything that you, bring a potluck
pretty well.
Yeah, it could have been a lot worse.
Really smooth,
yeah.
I felt. I mean, at least from my perspective.
I think that her having the dress rehearsal was crucial.
Yeah.
Because it gave us all the opportunity to see
Caitlin
the space
is the one who runs the teen outreach, correct?
Yes.
Just so people understand.
So, yeah, I think that was definitely crucial. But it was still a matter of, you're trying to organize 14 people ranging from ages 12 to 30-something. And
huge range of ages.
Especially adults aren't very good at following instructions, so it's harder to...
Yeah.
But, huge shout out to her. But that brings me to, we spoke about possibly doing with XY Evolution some fundraisers for the Teen Outreach Center and having just, parties, basically.
Yeah, that would be cool.
You can come out and pay to get in, bring your own alcohol like it was yesterday, and just have a fun night out and listen to some good music.
No Tide Pod parties. Though.
No Tide Pod parties. No.
We'll leave the hot coils at home as well.
Yeah. Could you imagine? Now, here's a thought before we go into a list of things you have coming up. If somebody dies from Tide Pod, should they? Do you think that they should get all of the same love that somebody who does not die from Tide Pod?
Yeah.
So they should. Okay.
Yeah, we're still I don't ever want to lose a life. A life is precious.
I'm not saying
but
about that, but I mean, they should be honored the same way, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So someone Hahn Funeral Home, that would be a great place. A family-owned funeral home. They love everyone, care for everyone, and they specialize in green burials.
Yeah.
So I just had to get that plug in there.
Oh, nice. Okay. I feel it. But yeah, no Tide Pods.
No Tide Pods.
Don't
All right.
do it.
No Tide Pod parties. So, what kind of gigs do you have coming up then? You said you have a list?
So we have 5 set in stone right now. We are in March 16th and May 19th at Sunny Jim's on Camp Horn Road. On April 21st and May 26th, we are at Xander's out in Monroeville. And then June 2nd, we are at Kendrew's in Aliquippa. So we're off to the races a little bit. It's a nice little start. Covers a wide range of area
in the Pittsburgh region.
Yeah. And I've been reaching out to more bars and clubs and stuff too. And our bass player / booking agent, the Duke's been working on it too. He's been calling every phone number he has trying to get us a gig. But
awesome.
It's gonna get rolling soon.
Well, you're gonna get a chance to hear what is in store, I guess. We're gonna play. We've got Mark to my right. We have Stephanie Byars, and they won the Brookline's Got Talent event, which was last night. I was a judge.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
Thank you. Yeah. It was fun. It was a cool experience. So they're going to wrap up with a song, and we're going to wrap the show up with that. But I do want to remind you, you are listening to the River's Edge Radio Network, Pittsburgh's voice for local music. And if you have one of the smart homes we were talking about, you can tell your smartphone, or your smart home, rather, to play the River's Edge station on TuneIn, and you can listen to programs like this and local music all day right from the comfort of your living room. And you don't even have to get up and touch a touchscreen TV to do it. So we've got Mark and Stephanie.
Way to tie it all together. That was a really good conclusion. That was really good.
Mark and Stephanie, they got the song that won them the day. They're going to perform that right now. This is River Talk. I'm Brian Crawford. Thanks to Zach Fell behind the board. Your intro music was Scumbag Inc. from Solar Burn. But we're going to end with Mark and Stephanie right here on the River's Edge.
All right. How you feeling?
Let's do it.
Can I get a little more piano? There we are. All right. Sorry. Been sitting for a while. Can you hear? Good?
Yeah.
All right. 1, 2, ready. Sight, out of mind. The only emotion that you know.
You were right by my side just 15 minutes ago.
But it seems like I exit your head when I exit the door. But in
dreams, my eye is the apple of yours, leaves me wanting more.
So tie a ribbon around your finger, so it helps you to remember
that I'm still living, even when I'm not there. I need it to seem like you still care. As I sit waiting patiently, I wonder if your heart can
feel the things that I feel in me. I can't hold up, I'm only one man who
loves so hard to the end of the road. Wanna see if you know that
your discard of my memory hurts.
So I need you to go and tie a ribbon around your finger,
so it helps you to remember, whoa, that I'm still living, even when I'm not there.
I need it to seem like you still care, yeah. 'Cause if you don't and you won't, then you're gonna lose the perfect man that you had in your hands. You make me feel like going shopping for attention. Can't you see that ain't me? I just wanna be your partner in crime. Oh, till the end of time. Oh, so tie a ribbon around your finger,
So it helps you to remember, oh, that I'm still living, even when I'm not there. Oh,
I need it to seem like you still care. It doesn't seem like you still care.
sweet. Thanks for the time.